Hello, New Bedford, and welcome to another edition of Let's Talk. I am your City Councilor at Large for New Bedford, Debora Coelho. And today, as always, I like to promote New Bedford and see what New Bedford is doing. And what better way to do that than to introduce some folks that are doing incredible things around our city. And today I have with us a special guest and a personal friend, Diane Bolton. Diane, thank you for being here today.
I thank you very much for inviting me.
And we're here for a specific project which I'm really excited about. Every time you and I talk about it, it's just growing.
Yes.
And it's called the
Baby Project.
The Baby Project. Now, Diane, what is the Baby Project?
Yes, people do ask, what is that Baby Project all about? So, 6 years ago, we'll start quickly, but it's been going on for a while, and I was volunteering, which I still do, at St. Anthony's Food Pantry. And, you know, we give out lunch, we, you know, give out things, and I was doing that kind of work.
Diane, can I just cut in on St. Anthony's Food Pantry? Would you say the location where that is and when they do the deliveries, please?
It is St. Anthony's Church,
right.
St. Anthony of Padua Church Food Pantry on Acushnet Avenue at Nye and Bullard Street. And it's every Thursday, 11:30 till about 1:30. And so I was volunteering there. And, you know, I noticed there were young children coming in with their mothers at times. And, you know, I would say that I was trying to do things, maybe give them some juice or a little something extra, you know, with the children coming through. So this young mother came up to me, though, with the baby. She had the baby with her, and she said, I have no more money, I have no more diapers, and can you help me? And honestly, this light bulb went on in my head. Whoa! And I felt like, well, we don't have anything here for babies. We have tons of stuff, and it's wonderful, food pantry, of course, but we don't have anything here for babies. And so it became something I wanted to do.
Well, and it's amazing because anybody that walks through the inner city neighborhoods or even drives by, especially in the morning, we are loaded. The city of New Bedford is really growing with a population of babies.
Yes. And
you can see them in the morning, the ones that are going to preschool and kindergarten, and it's unbelievable. The city of New Bedford has a lot of babies, so yes. I know there's a lot of need for what you're doing.
Exactly. And so that's 6 years ago, and of course that mother, I went and got her diapers, and then I went, yikes.
The expense.
How expensive these things are. And I did present the next meeting of the Council of Women's Organizations, which I'm on the board, and I presented this to them. I have this concern, you know, we have a lot of babies in the city. I'm going to do some research, which I did. And I went to City Hall. How many babies are born in New Bedford? Out of St. Luke's Hospital, 1,600 a year, around that. Went down to WIC, the WIC program, Women, Infants, and Children. Now, most people think that WIC gives diapers, but it's a nutrition program, an excellent nutrition program, but they do not give out diapers. So what I went there for was to see, well, how many babies in New Bedford are receiving these services and, you know, that kind of income, finding out the poverty income figures and that type of thing, and how many. So, you know, over 50%. It's in that over 50% that are in this situation. So, so I brought that information to the Council of Women's Organizations, and we thought about it, and I said, you know what I'd like to do, and I'd like to provide more items for the babies at the food pantry. Now, at the food pantry, you know, I asked Paula Bryden, who's the director, and you never know what somebody's going to say, right? And I just said, now, Paula, would you mind if I had a table, and I have a table, and I bring things in and give them to the, you know, the mothers and babies, and would that be all right? And she went, yes, that's fine. You know, I went, thank God, because, of course, in this, you know, we know some people just go, no, and then what are you going to do? Well, so, but she was right with it, you know, yep, go right ahead. And we could give them more food from the food pantry, SpaghettiOs, you know, and they like oatmeal or various food things that children would like, juices, and also clothing. And I would buy some diapers and baby food if it came in. So this is how it began. And then I would say I have 2 ongoing fundraisers, the Postcard Project and the Aluminum Project. Well, the Postcard Project I've been doing for 14 years.
I remember that.
So,
yeah, you got quite a collection.
People have seen maybe the slideshow or seen the postcards.
Postcards from New Bedford.
Old postcards of New Bedford, and we call them, you know, stroll down memory lane. And
I hope you show some of those to us here on this show, because I know you're gonna.
Wow, sounds like another show, Debora.
All right, don't tease me. Maybe we'll do another show.
Yeah, but the old postcards of New Bedford, of course, I've used this as a fundraising vehicle for charities in the city. But now, of course, it's all for the Baby Project. So, you know, I've been doing that and you know, raising some money. And I'll tell you, I did 10 slideshows. So I got $500. So I put in the first 500. And then the Council of Women, see, that it's an annual service project. So it went from, you know, September to May with them deciding on the project. And then in May, you know, of the following year, you know, they donated the money. So you know, I needed my startup money, which I got from the Postcard Project. But I've met many young mothers and grandmothers raising grandchildren.
Yes,
okay.
Yes. We actually did a show on that as well.
And we would give out, certainly in the winter too, winter coats, snowsuits, and many lovely ladies are out there knitting. You know, hats, booties, mittens.
And they give it away around the holidays.
And they give it to us.
I think it's great.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, we're the bottomless pit. So there are a number of different knitting groups out there, and they'll give me the call when they're ready, and they make the, you know, I usually go visit them, or they bring it in. But so what we're trying to do, of course, is to help these babies and their mothers, and you know, wherever we can, doing whatever we can do to help. And so that's right out of St. Anthony's Food Pantry. Well, as you know, there's many people that come in. It's very fast-paced.
Actually, if you don't mind me saying, because I've witnessed this, some years ago, the food pantry would start at the entrance on 9th Street, kind of halfway down the street. And through a couple of years, it has gone to Acushnet Avenue. But this year alone, it's starting to wrap around the Acushnet Avenue, almost to the other entrance of the church, which is indicative of the growing need of families in New Bedford. That's why I asked you to give the location and the time.
Certainly.
Because
it's at a crucial time.
Yeah.
You know, some of the services that have been out there are no longer. And also that between the unemployment running out, for example, and people losing their jobs, and people never having jobs. You know,
so
we're talking about this huge population now that are coming, and I mean, they go down to get help from welfare, and they're not always qualifying anymore, and they're presenting it that they're not qualifying, and I honestly don't know what to do, but I will help them where I can, you know, and you know, just that one idea of sometimes you just do one kind of thing, and they're so appreciative. They feel like people care. Yeah. And that's a lot of the spirit of St. Anthony's Food Pantry, let me tell you. We don't have all the answers. We don't have everything they need. But we do try to help them, you know, and we do care. We definitely care for them. So, you know, they know it, and so, you know, they appreciate it, and it makes them feel better. But there is a time now, we're in a crucial time for people in the community to understand that it's everybody doing their bit, what they can do to help. And I have the Aluminum Project, for example, that is, you know, it's paid for almost 20% of the diapers now. Yes.
Well, this is great, Diane. I know we have a lot more to cover here, So we're going to take a short break, and to you folks at home, we'll be right back. And when we come back, we're going to share some of the stories from the community for this need, and we're going to talk about how you can contribute to this project, and we're going to give you locations on your phone number that you can call and donate if that's something that you feel you want to participate and contribute to the city of New Bedford. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back to Let's Talk.
And Let's Talk will be right back with your host, Debora Coelho. For more information, you can give us a call at 508-971-0123.
This is an important message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. As you evacuate, remember to take your prescription medicines with you. Many businesses, including pharmacies, may be closed during and after a hurricane. If you're unable to evacuate and cannot drive, ask a friend or relative to drive you to pick up items you may need during the emergency, including a week's supply of medication. To learn more, call the CDC at 800-CDC-INFO.
It shouldn't take other people from the outside telling us what we have. It's ours to share with the rest of the world. When you visit other places, let them know where you come from. Let them know the beauty of New Bedford. Whenever you need a moment of peace, head for our beaches. Look out in the ocean and just let it go. So much more will come floating back to you.
To all of you, New Bedford, love you, New Bedford. And welcome back, New Bedford. This is Let's Talk, and I am your City Councilor at Large for New Bedford, Debora Coelho. And today we have with us a special guest from New Bedford, a volunteer at that, and it's pretty exciting because it's all about babies, and it's the Baby Project. So with that, I'm going to reintroduce Diane. Diane, welcome again.
I'm very glad to be here. Thank you so much for your interest.
It's exciting, isn't it, to be able to share these great stories.
Wonderful.
So just to recap, we were talking about the Baby Project, how it is growing, and there's a need because the population of New Bedford of babies being born every day into our city. And, you know, with tough times right now, any little bit of help a families can get, they're going to go get it. And you found a need that wasn't picked up on before, and you did that through, go ahead and talk about how you were able to find this need and share some of the stories that persuaded you that there really was a need. Yes.
Well, certainly as they line up in front of you, you know, at the food pantry, the need was growing and growing. They do have to qualify with their mass health cards and what have you when they come into the food pantry, you know, so I didn't have to do any of that. So I know whoever comes up to me is a person in need that, you know, qualifies, if you will. So, so that has been going on really for 5 years at St. Anthony's Food Pantry, and money coming in from donations of wonderful people, Council of Women's Organizations, the Aluminum Project, the Postcard Project, you know, so doing everything we can to raise money and to buy the diapers, which are the big, you know, the big purchase, of course. But at the same time, we're building relationships, we're talking to them, praying with them. You know, there could be a baby at Hasbro Hospital in terrible straits, you know, and we are, of course, you know, listening and praying with them. and people donating, items. But it's a very fast-paced, very loud, very busy place,
Now, I was also going to ask you, do you find it's more younger mothers, or it doesn't matter? It's mothers of all ages that pretty much are in need?
Mothers of all ages,
That's what I thought.
and the grandmothers as well, raising grandchildren. So I felt it was time, and this is a year or so ago, to look for another location. And actually, we've got the North End, Center, and South End. And New Bedford's 12 miles long, and many of these women, they don't have cars. Their transportation is pushing the baby carriage. And even that, they need bus passes, but, those aren't cheap. So the idea was to have a North End, Center, and South End. So the North End, we're at St. Andrews. As of February 1st, we started at St. Andrew's Episcopal Church on Belleville Road on Wednesdays. And Our Lady of Guadalupe, St. James, here on County and Rockland, every other Monday. And so this is just wonderful because, first of all, it's just us. And so it's a slower pace, and we can take our time. We have plenty of room to put all the clothing out. We get donations of very nice used clothing. And that's people, they can drop it off at my house, or they bring it during, while we're there on the Monday, from about 10 to about 2. We're setting up from 10 to 12, but from 12 to 2 we're giving out the diapers and we have books. We get children's books. We want to encourage literacy, of course, some formula, baby food, and also friendship or how can we help you, and we have brochures, certainly for the WIC program and for the street sheet, if you will, so we can help them, at least to refer them to, to other places and other agencies.
Speaking about referring, to other agencies, just recently you came in front of the City Council and you spoke very nicely, and it was very heartfelt, the appointments and briefings meeting. And you talked about the need to have a child advocate, that there really isn't one in the city of New Bedford. Right. Can you describe how you envision that child advocate, and what do you think would be their job description, and what are you kind of hoping that comes out of that?
It's a big thing. The child advocate position would be a very independent position operating out of the mayor's office, and in other words, a city position, not from the state or federal. A local. And a person who would be knowledgeable of all the federal programs, all the state programs, and how everything, is integrated together. But where are the gaps, and where are the, and some of them are big. So in some area they do get help, and then they get nothing here, and so that person for a child advocate would be very knowledgeable of all the other opportunities and the help in the city, and then would see, well, gee, how will we solve this problem here and this one over here, and I am sort of doing that. That is what I'm doing. I do outreach. I do get phone calls from agencies, from DTA, from DCF, from St. Luke's Nursery, and they have my number, and I bring diapers up to Harbor House Shelter. So I do get around, I do talk to a lot of people, and I'm aware of things. All right, so I'm doing homework, if you will, for someone who might become a this child advocate, but it's not me. I'm not trying to be the child advocate, but I would love to have somebody there so that I could, with what I'm doing, report to them and work with that child advocate, to, first of all, get them up to speed, but then bring them, the problems, if you will, and some proposals and some ideas, because I definitely have some. After being out for 5 years now, and I do know you've got to do your homework. You've got to research things and make phone calls and find out. And
there's also a lot of grant money available at a state level and federal level, and that requires a lot of time.
Yes,
I know you rather be with the people. You rather be doing your volunteer working.
Yeah.
And what I'm trying to say with that is that there's funding available, but you're right, we need that advocate there working on the desk or behind the desk and kind of putting that together. So folks like you that just want to volunteer and be able to get it directly to where the need is. Well, you know, we have
this, okay, I have ideas, I have a vision of what I would, you know, and certainly other people have contributed to it, of course, but that I would like to do the advocacy. And that means the State House, and that means, you know, with our political leaders and giving presentations and getting the help that I feel these children need. So, you know, we've been focusing on many other things that are worthy, but babies first, and that's where I come from, and that's what I'm going to say. And I know most people agree with me. It's just that they think someone else is taking care of them. And let me tell you, they don't vote, and they're in the background, and their mothers are in trouble and, you know, having problems, and they're not voting, and they're young, most of them. So, you know, it's up to us to identify this and to see, wow, they really need help. How can our children in school, here's, you know, they can't perform, they're having trouble, and yes, look where they're coming from. Everyone doesn't know where they're coming from and what they've been subjected to. And that's my job, to advocate for them and to say, here they are, you know.
Can we, because we all know there's nothing like a good story to kind of give us a mental picture of what the need are. Can you share some of the stories? Just maybe a couple that would kind of describe
well, you know,
what
we
you
have
see
the gamut.
that the average person doesn't see.
Yeah, well, we do have the gamut, you know, of some people, you know, if they worked a little harder, they maybe they could get themselves some diapers. Okay, that's a few of them there, you know. And then there are some extremely needy situations that I will go beyond the call of duty. I mean, I do bring them places, or I buy them things, or I get them what they need. Somebody's out at a hotel, a motel, you know, they've got
homeless,
nothing, they call me.
Yeah.
The motels don't provide cribs, you know, they've got bed bugs, you know, and this type of thing. Well, you know, one time I got a call, I went and got a pack and play and brought it to her out at the motel. There was no place for the baby to sleep, you know, and so that's just one. There was a fire out in Westport. She ran out the door with the baby. I got a call from the Red Cross, see, so, you know, and I said, well, I know people are giving me money, and I'm spending it, you know, always spending it. Of course I helped her where I could. She needed diapers, she needed some formula right then and there. They had just been, the house had been on fire. And so those are things I know, I've no doubt everyone would want me to help them, you know, and so some have housing, some have Section 8, but some don't. And what monies they get, it all goes to rent. And then they might have food stamps, yes, but they have nothing for anything else. So they don't have money for a bus pass. And they do have to continue, the DTA down to the Cove there, you know. I mean, they're back and forth, because they have to bring paperwork constantly.
Yes.
Constantly.
It's a job itself.
And they're cut off like that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying they're mean at DTA, but what I'm saying is that there's so many people now that are in need. They're under tremendous pressure, I know, at DTA. And so you know, there's grandmothers I've helped out, you know, they're doing their best to try to take care of a small child. And they could be 50s, 60s, 70s. It isn't that easy to pick them up anymore when you're, you know, on your shoulders and all of that, but to carry them around. But what I'm going to say is back to up at St. Andrew's Church and at Our Lady of Guadalupe, St. James. See, they can come right in with the children and sit down, and at least sit down and wait. St. Anthony's is a food pantry. They're in line outside in that
regardless
line,
of
and they're
the
out
weather.
there regardless of the weather with small children, and it's too much. Newborn, what are they going to do? So yeah, I've got my little notebook, and I sign, you know, that when they're due, and I say, you can call me for diapers, and I will drop them off for a while, you know, until you can come and see us. But this is, you can imagine, I'm the scout, you know.
And a good one at that.
And of course, needing many women volunteers to fill in all these blanks here that I'm doing it this week and I'm helping this one and I'm helping that one. But it's going to take a lot of volunteer women coming on board to implement this in the way that will really make a big impact, I think, in the community.
So let me ask you this. Big impact right now, anybody watching the show and feel compelled they want to help, what would you tell them? Where's the location? What's the phone number? And what is, give them a description of the need. Because I think people really want to help babies out.
Certainly, too. And you know what? It's this, there will be times when I get money coming in and then I don't get any. And it's nerve-wracking, you might imagine. I'm trying to get this, take care of them every week. And so I did put a mailing out to the people who've been helping so far, you know, which are wonderful people. And I've said I need 300 women giving $10 a month. And that will help us. And we're, you know, in the north end, we're in the south end. I'm still at St. Anthony's. I just came from there. And also, you know, there is another one downtown.
What would be the phone number if they wanted to write out a check for the baby project?
Certainly.
Okay.
Well, the phone number is 508-994-8421. But make the check out to the Baby Project, yeah, and mail it to Diane, care of Diane Bolton, at 49 Orchard Street in New Bedford, and that's 02740.
Great. And if they want to, are you also looking for volunteers? If anybody have any ideas?
You know, they may have extra formula. They may have nice baby clothes and the baby's grown out of them. They may have nice children's books, a high chair, a stroller, and I receive those, you know, and give those out.
So in addition to donations, you will take any decent items, baby items, you will accept that, and even baby food.
And I ask it from the mothers, you know, and they fold, wash, folded, bring it in, you know, so they do help too, you know.
Well, that's great. Diane, I can go on and continue this conversation because I love babies too. And New Bedford's full of beautiful babies. And we want to make sure that all their needs are met.
Exactly.
And, you know, that's the responsibility of an entire community.
Absolutely.
So you're here today to remind the good folks at home that if you feel compelled to help out the baby project, please, you have the contact number for Diane Bolton. Please make some sort of contribution, or if you have any items that you want to forward to babies, or maybe you might have babies of your own that outgrew items and they're in good condition, please, you know, don't keep them in the closet for that long. Somebody else is...
Yeah, somebody needs them, yeah.
Somebody's in need within the same day of when your child no longer needs these clothes they outgrow so fast. At any case, Diane, once again, thank you very much for coming to share your story, a wonderful growing story.
Yes.
Literally.
Yes, and I thank you so much.
Oh, this is fun, isn't it? Thank you, Diane. Again, to the good folks, thank you for watching Let's Talk. We really try to promote New Bedford and everything good that's going on in New Bedford and the needs to make it good in New Bedford. Thank you for listening in and staying tuned to what's going on in New Bedford. My name is Debora Coelho. I am your City Councilor at Large. I also have a wonderful Facebook, which is, you know, a community, open to the community Facebook. Please be my friend, Debora Coelho, D-E-B-O-R-A-C-O-E-L-H-O. I always say that, please check the spelling because there's more Deboras out there. And join us on Facebook. Thank you for joining us here today. And then until next time, New Bedford, thank you, and we'll see you next time on Let's Talk with Debora Coelho.